What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review, unboxing, and kind of a talk about a new 4K release of Invaders from Mars. That's right, it's a new Ignite Films. Let's get into it.
The year was 1953, and the Cold War between America and Russia had been a tension that was growing in the United States. Children were learning all about politics, math, science, and how to duck and cover under their desks, cowering to keep themselves busy from a nuclear holocaust that would burn their flesh at 100 million degrees Celsius. That's right, a movie then came out called Invaders from Mars. And it is now brought to you in full
Color. Check it out. So yeah, I thought it'd be fun to kind of like do some old 50s style. That may be even older. That could be like the 20s, the Flappas, you know, like who knows. Anyway, this movie came out. I got it sent to me by MVD Entertainment Group. Thank you very much for sending it out. This is a release from Ignite Films. They worked with NFSA and the George Eastman Museum and put out this release. Now, if you aren't familiar with this release, this is actually about a young boy who learns that space aliens, particularly Mars, are taking over the minds of Earthlings and trying to invade the planet. Simple as that. It's not a very long film, actually. It's only 72 minutes, and it's in full color. It's actually a beautifully restored film that they spent a long time doing it. This is a movie that was directed by William Cameron Menzies, who was a director, but also an art director, where he actually worked on the sets, like the big picturesque sort of sets that you saw behind people. Sometimes they were paintings, sometimes they included like actual physical items and stuff. He designed a lot of those, including one like Gone with the Wind, which is one of the more famous ones. He also worked on movies like as a director called Things to Come and The Thief of Baghdad. He's done a lot more than that, but yeah, this is one of the films that inspired many different movies to come out after it that were very similar to it. Aliens taking over people's minds and making them act differently. And it's true, this was a movie that really kind of made a lot of kids after the Cold War kind of like really scared, and it also kind of made them kind of like against the government in some ways. Like it made them to not trust the government, made them not trust anybody, because yeah, it's like one of the earliest inklings of that. One of the films that actually inspired was Invasion of the Body Snatchers, which is one of my favorite films. I love the remake even of the 80s the most, but yeah, this is the movie that did that. So what did I think about this film? Well, I actually had a really good time watching it. It's very short, at about 72 minutes. That's not long at all. You can actually watch this movie in a quick sitting, no problem, and kind of get to the meat and potatoes of the entire story right away. It's not a very complex story. It's just one that kind of takes you on some twists and turns and does a few things that are tropey to people nowadays, but weren't back then. Like there's without spoiling it, I'll just say the dream trope. That's in here. There's a couple of other different things that you'll notice that you're going to be blown away by and go, oh, this actually is also a very good looking film. Everything is proportionate. Because Menzies was a art director, he had, you know, proportion on the mind, and everything, every situation, every scene is perfect looking. There's color, it's beautiful, there's a lot going on. He really put a lot of thought into each of these scenes. And the funny thing is he had to reshoot this whole thing. But he was so good at trying to figure out what he could and couldn't do, he just was able to make it look really good and was able to redo it. Other thing is some of these set designs were set like a specific way. They were very static, and if you shot them, you know, you look 2 inches to the right or 2 inches to the left, it would be like instantly you would know exactly that it was a set. But the way he set it up was so picturesque, it just really works. So the visuals in this are actually really good. The 4K transfer of this is outstanding. Seeing it again, it kind of brought back some of those memories, but more so it was kind of all fresh and new to me anyway. I like seeing some of the people being taken over by these devices that the Martians use in order to kind of basically capture them and then turn them into these like slaves of sorts and like kind of make them go after other people in this like community or hive mind, while men, literal men in green jumpsuits run back and forth and back and forth. It's pretty impressive. In fact, you're going to see a lot of repeating things in this movie because they really wanted to stretch this movie out into a feature film. This movie wasn't exactly finished for a feature film. It was just done in like, they added like 10 minutes extra to this movie. And it's still only 12 minutes over an hour. You're going to see soldiers listening to commands by kids and believing them, men dressed up in pretty obviously like material suits as Martians, a lot of prosthetic creature effects. You're going to see a lot of visual stylings and a lot, and I mean a lot, of tanks a-rolling and military getting prepared to attack the invaders from Mars. So it's one of those things that they just added in there, and it wasn't so bad when I was watching it because this movie goes by so quick, but you'll notice it. But yeah, this is an older film. This is from the 50s, and it's like, and I'm such an 80s head. It's hard to really like grade these. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to grade this. This is before my time, and I still enjoyed it, though. I had a good time watching. It's one of the better 50s movies I've seen, actually. I just watched War of the Worlds, too, and they just did a 4K transfer on that. And, you know, that was fun to watch, too. But this one just kind of breezes by. And it's a much easier watch to me. But I do like the War of the Worlds as well, but I really enjoyed this. I'd say like an 8 out of 10. I don't watch that many 50s films, so if you're not used to it, maybe you might not like it. I don't know. But I think you can appreciate the art stylings and like what they did with this film and the story and everything all in one package, in a small, fun, very easy to watch package. There are a crap load of extras in here with some big known names that you would know that are directors who went through the, you know, time frame that this movie came out. This is a brand new 4K restoration of the film. They used that from the original camera negatives and the actual master positives. There is a restored 4K original trailer as well, which I think they did first just to kind of test bed, you know, how they're going to go about doing the film, because the film had some like rot and some like decay, and the colors and things were like off a bit. There was like blue shiny things. There's interviews with star Jimmy Hunt, who's the kid in the movie. He talks about like what it was like to be on set, and that, you know, how he got hit in the face when he's a kid, but at this moment that actually really happened, but it was all part of the whole scene and everything like that. They also have William Cameron Menzies' biographer James Curtis and recollections of Menzies, the eldest granddaughter Pamela Lawson. We also have a featurette with acclaimed film directors John Landis, Joe Dante, editor Mark Goldblatt, special visual effects and two-time Oscar winner Robert Skotek. And he is the foremost expert of Invaders from Mars, by the way. And we also get enthusiast and film preservationist Scott McQueen. They even have this thing where they did Turner Movie Classics, where they introduced this film for the first time and actually showed it in a theater for Turner Movie Classics. And John Sayles does the introduction on that. It was in Hollywood on April 2022. We have before and after clips of the restoration, original negative, archival film elements, with film restoration and supervisor Scott McQueen again. And we even get a restored couple of segments too that are in 2K of the alternative international version, which has an alternative ending and an extended planetarium scene. We got a gallery of the original press book pages, behind the scenes photos and the restoration process, plus a 20-page book that you get with this. It comes in the case here. This all just came out here on Tuesday. But this book does like an essay explaining of exactly how they did everything with like pictures, and, you know, shows you how like they got that blue stuff off the screen, how they got all this dirt off of it, how they edged the corners and everything. It looks like it was a lot of work. Like, we don't even know how hard it is for some of these films. And that's why we have places like Vinegar Syndrome and Ignite Films and all these places doing the work to restore these old films so we never lose them. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I had a good time watching it. Thank you, MVD, for sending it out to me. If you'd like to pick up a copy, I'll put all the links down below. You can pick it up on Amazon. You can pick it up on MVD Entertainment or anywhere you like, really. I'll just put some links down. If you're a fan of this movie and you enjoyed it growing up, I would say this is definitely a good purchase because it really looks phenomenal. Probably the best way to watch it. And I used to be the one that would say, you don't need it for old films. Not anymore, man. Some of these things really pop with the color and everything, and this is one of them. But yeah, let me know what you think about this movie. Have you seen it? Have you not seen it? Did you grow up with it? Did you do duck and cover when you were a kid? Hell, we did that shit when I was in the 80s, okay? Like, when I was a kid, like, we had that same sort of similar vibe going on because it came back. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe button. And as always, long live the void.